Hey, Ty Brady here with Brady Insurance Marketing in the Ty Brady Way, one of the nation's largest field marketing organizations that helps independent agents achieve a 6- and 7-figure income with the systems and strategies that I'm going to talk about with you today.
Welcome to Ty Brady Way. I love doing this show, and I appreciate and grateful for every listener, for all of the insight you give me and all the comments you leave on any of my platforms, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, you name it, it's all there. But I want to talk a little bit about holiday traditions. And as Thanksgiving is around the corner already, I can't believe it. And just talk a little bit about what are you grateful for? And I am grateful for my family, and typically because I have a house where it's, I have a big basement where a lot of my family can get together, and I have a large family, 8 sisters and 3 brothers. But for Thanksgiving, typically what we like to do, and my wife is awesome. She's always willing to host, always willing to cook. And then I always seem to get roped in some capacity because, at my house for Thanksgiving, we like to have turkey. We like to have steak. We like to have ribs. And, up until a few years ago, one of the traditions is I would take as many people that would want to go duck hunting or pheasant hunting, or even because pheasant hunts a couple of weeks prior to Thanksgiving, and we take all of the game meat that we're able to harvest and cook it. And I always seem to get roped into smoking a beef brisket or even some ribs because not everybody likes turkey. So that's one of the things that I do in Thanksgiving dinner is I help cook other meats besides the turkey. Now, I always have the pleasure of carving the turkey and getting it ready. But, Thanksgiving is just an important time of year. We get together, the little kids play games. My wife will have crafts for the kids to do. And it's just one time, it's a good time to reflect. My mom, she passed away a few years ago, and she was all about family. And, some days I miss that because she used to always get together for birthdays every single month. And, with 8 sisters, 2 brothers, and umpteen grandkids and great grandkids now, my dad's still alive, so I'll see him this Thanksgiving. And getting everybody together just at a time to see everybody, because we live in a day and age where people used to live in a general proximity of each other. And now it seems that everybody's kind of scattered all over the place in different parts of the country, but yet we can stay close using social media, which is nice. And we'll get people on either FaceTime or even one of the platforms to talk and see how everybody's doing. But it's a good time to, as Thanksgiving's coming around the corner, it's a time to reflect. There used to be a tradition when my mom was alive, everybody would go out and do Black Friday shopping, and it seemed like that after 4 o'clock, everybody was looking at all the ads, making a game plan on where they were going to go shopping. But I think Black Friday is kind of a thing of the past because a lot of people do it online now, or people wait until, what's it called, Cyber Monday? They wait till Monday to do those things. And, that isn't, a lot of people don't like to go fight all the crowds, the cold, the noise. It really isn't worth those deals when you can go online and purchase something pretty quick and have it delivered to your door. So a few years ago, I think my family decided not to do Black Friday shopping, but they used to go and they'd worry about getting the $10 Monopoly game, and somebody would stand there in front of that kiosk to get that $10 Monopoly game. And I would just be like, nah, because I was up earlier that morning, usually at 4 a.m. to go either duck hunting or some kind of hunting with the kids that wanted to do that. And then back at about 11 so that we could finish up cooking Thanksgiving dinner. But as Thanksgiving is a time to reflect and what are you grateful for? And I've talked a lot about, one of my primary focuses in life is family. My family is number one. And if you want to know where I'm at on the weekends or even during after work hours, I'm usually with my kids somewhere in some capacity. I'm either helping, coaching them on the field. I'm helping drive them to and from practice. I'm doing something, and then usually eating dinner late at night. And one of the things that my wife always does too, and I'm grateful for, is my kids are spoiled. my wife makes sure that my kids have a hot cooked meal or a breakfast of some kind every single day before school. My wife is cooking eggs, pancakes, waffles, bacon, you name it. And I have one boy that, man, he's like, can I get 4 eggs over easy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, really? I mean, not just scrambled eggs. I mean, my wife is cooking over easy eggs on toast for my boy that's 11. And man, he just eats it up. And also with my wife, I'm grateful for is she makes sure that I have a hot meal or a home cooked meal or something to eat when I get home from work. And without fail, she does that. Now, I appreciate that. It's one of the things that she does. She provides that service. It's the way that she likes to perform acts of kindness, acts of love. And I always remind my kids, not everybody gets this. And when friends come over, what was it, last Thursday or Friday? Friends come over and my wife made spaghetti. She ended up making 2 more helpings of spaghetti to feed all the neighborhood kids. And then they were overjoyed because they had meatballs and spaghetti and they polished it off. But family is number one. The next one is faith. And what I mean by faith is believing in a higher power, a higher being. Everybody should know that the universe is not here by circumstance, that the universe is here for us, and need to appreciate the universe and what we're given. And know that this is where we live today. We need to take care of it. And they need to have that higher power, higher being that people meditate to get that inspiration, whatever it is, that's on you. And then the next one is family, faith, financial freedom, and free time. And free time or financial freedom, I've been able to do that. I made a commitment a long time ago when I was young. I said, hey, I'm going to have the ability to retire at age 40. And yes, I have the ability to retire, but I haven't retired yet. And there's no reason for me to retire. But the financial freedom that I have with the industry that I'm in and the people I'm able to help, it gives me financial freedom, which then allows me to have free time. So it's the question of, do I want to miss my kids' game, or do I want to travel this weekend to go and watch my kids perform and my kids compete? My kids are little athletes, and my daughters cheer. My kids play lacrosse, football. We're all a very active family. It's one of those things that we said, if you're either working. My daughter's 16. She's like, well, I don't want to cheer no more. I'm going to work. You have to either work or play a sport or do something. You can't just come home and sit on the couch and play video games. And those are always important to me, those 4 F's. And as we think about this time of year and Thanksgiving, be grateful for what you have and the things that you're able to enjoy. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about family traditions. Thanksgiving is coming up. It's a great time of year where you have, family, fun, football, all of those types of things. And a couple of traditions that I like to do as a family is, I have 8 sisters and 2 brothers. And, I had a sister that passed away a few years back, but everyone else is still living and around. But what we like to do is we like to get together. We usually have, Thanksgiving or dinner around 1:00. But in the meantime, we're watching football. But some of the traditions that I've had over the years have been these. One of the ones is that every Thanksgiving, I would take as many people that I knew that were close to me. We would either go out fishing for that morning, and usually in Utah it's cold, it's snowing, but either I would go fishing or I would go duck hunting. And this year, actually, my nephew's coming into town from Georgia, and he's already got on the calendar that we're going to go duck hunting Thanksgiving morning. So we typically get up early, we go duck hunting, and that's what we'll end up doing this year, or we do some kind of adventure. There's been times in the past when I couldn't get anyone to go either play football or, go fishing or hunting, and we ended up going and playing like football. I remember one year, it seemed like the snow was 3 feet deep, and we played football, and it was one of the funnest times because when you got tackled, it didn't hurt. With my boys getting older, I'm sure that they like to play football, that we may go play some football somewhere after we even go hunting for ducks. But the fun thing about all of that is typically I get a little crazy and I cook. My responsibility is I usually cook prime rib. And after I cook the prime rib, I'll end up cooking like ribs and then I'll end up smoking either duck or goose or even pheasant, because pheasant hunts right around that time as well. Depending on what we were able to go out and harvest is what we like to cook. And so as my family comes over, and my nephews and my nieces, they get to try all of these meats they typically wouldn't try. And it's funny because I usually don't tell them. I just have a little bit of assorted of meat out there that I've cooked and smoked. And they're like, man, this is really good. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's goose. And then all of a sudden they get this disgusted face like, oh, what are you doing? I'm eating goose. I've had bear at those. So one of my tradition is letting them try some exotic meats that maybe haven't tried before, especially ones that I've cooked or I've personally smoked. I've had them try bear and moose, because you don't get that very often, or maybe bison, just basically whatever I can come up with. Turkey, I've had turkey as well. So those are different types of meat that my nephews and nieces and even my sisters get to try. But, one of the prime one is, I did Wagyu beef one year as well. But one of the ones they really enjoy is that prime rib that I smoke, and they really, really enjoy that prime rib. But it's fun to get together and, not only you have nature, right? Those things that you've harvested, and my kids can see the full circle of life. And I'm able to take those meats that I have harvested and have my kids and people that I know try those exotic meats, and they really enjoy it. And they actually look forward to it. But not all of the time do we get everybody together. Typically what happens is my brothers and sisters, they split who goes to which holiday in which state, depending on in-laws and so on. So we get about 50% of my brothers and sisters at my house. My wife likes to set up games so the kids can go over and color. They may play foosball. They may play the arcade. But it's just a fun atmosphere where you eat a lot of great food. One of my favorite foods to eat is banana cream pie. My wife makes a delicious banana cream pie. She puts bananas on the bottom and puts all the banana cream on top. And there's been years where she's had to search out looking for banana cream to make banana cream pie. And she's gotten better because now she's like, I need to get that long before, Thanksgiving, because I go to try and find it around Thanksgiving time, the banana cream pie is all gone, or she's having to search 5 different stores to find it. Another one, so mine's banana cream. Her dad, and one of his all-time favorites, is pecan pie. And so she'll find or seek out a pecan pie. She usually ends up buying the pies except for the banana cream pie from somewhere. And usually there's somebody doing a fundraiser for, cheer or football or some athletic program out there. So she likes to support those, and she'll buy pies and then she'll have them delivered. But she always takes the time to make banana cream pie. With my family, large family, 8 sisters, 2 brothers, we typically have to cook 2 turkeys. And not only that, but she ends up buying turkey from her sister. Her sister owns a barbecue shop in a small town in Utah, and they like to do deep fried turkey. So she'll end up buying deep fried turkey from them, and I don't want to take the time to cook all that. So that's one thing. One of these days, maybe I'll do a deep fried turkey. But, that's pretty popular around Thanksgiving time. But I don't mind it if she ends up buying it from her sister because they're really good at it. They have all the systems set up. They know how to cook it quickly and efficiently. And it's nice just to have that deep fried turkey as well as all the other turkeys. So we typically do a deep fried turkey. We have prime rib. We have turkey that's been in the oven. We have all of the fixings, the stuffing and the banana cream pie, the pecan pie, all of those things. And it's such a great atmosphere to reflect back on the things that we're thankful for in this great country that we live in and what it's all about. It's family, faith, and financial freedom. That's what I talk a lot about. And that family is important to me. It's a day to remember to see my nieces and nephews I may not see all year round, or brothers and sisters I may see once or twice a year, and to look at all their kids and watch them grow. My dad has a ridiculous amount of number of posterity. He's still alive, and he talks about how many grandkids he has and how many great grandkids he have, and that's what it's all about. And he's so thankful that he's been able to have those kids and then give back to them. My family recently just did they're doing it monthly. They're doing a monthly dinner with my dad, and no greater joy does my dad have than been able to provide for his kids and grandkids just a meal. Just a simple meal. There was a time, that may have been our stretch for him, and he would have had to sacrifice a lot to provide that meal. But now he can do it, He's in good health. We've got him in a great place. Recently just sold, we're in the process of selling his home that he'd been in for 40 years. It was a little bit of an emotional tie to that. You know, it's all he knew. It was the last place that my mom and dad lived. And, you know, those are things that we can reflect on. You know, the family is so important and so crucial. I think people lose sight of that. You know, Thanksgiving, another tradition with all of the food and the hunting and all of the sports that we play those days, is back when my mom was around, she loved to shop Black Friday. Absolutely loved it. And they would, back in the day, get out all the newspapers and look and see where the deals were. And typically they would leave right after 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock to go do all their shopping. A lot of that is toned down because they don't like the hustle and bustle. And, you know, my mom's not head spearing that. But it's interesting how those women would get together, all of my sisters, all of my sister-in-laws, and they would go shopping. And I don't know how they did it, because I was usually up early in the morning to go hunting, if it was duck hunting or fishing. And then they would be going out in that afternoon shopping. And, you know what, they may have only bought 1 or 2 items, but it was just the circle that they created as women to go out and shop. And they'd have a game plan. Okay, hey, we're going to go to XYZ. We're going to go here. We're going to go there. And they would plan out what they could get or not get. And most of the time they ended up buying, you know, the $10 board games, or they bought something that I'm like, we could buy those any time of year, but they chose to do it. And I'm going to say the word, is it camaraderie? Anyway, you're going to have to edit that. Camaraderie. You know, I'm dyslexic. I struggle with words all the time. I struggle with my thoughts sometimes, but that's okay. We're moving on. We're getting through this podcast show. And I'm so grateful for the time of year that you can celebrate giving and Thanksgiving. One other thing that we've done in the past as a family tradition is we do Thanksgiving meals for heroes. And this is really cool, where my wife got connected with all of her people she knows with the Pageant Network and people that were realtors or with the title company, where we deliver pre-packaged Thanksgiving meal dinner to folks. So what you do, you can go and volunteer and put like the turkey and the stuffing and all the fixings in a box. And then there's an address on the box to deliver it. So she would always, you know, do that. It's usually the Tuesday before to make sure people have it in time. But you could go and help set up the turkeys and the meals. And it's, you know, like a train line, like somebody puts the turkeys in the box and then somebody puts the stuffing in a box. And then you have people that come and say, we're going to deliver these. And they do a route, like 6 to 10. They drop them off. And these are people that have requested a meal that may not be as fortunate to buy the meal themselves. And my wife's been able to involve more people to go and do a delivery. And it's really cool to see. It's grown over the years. And I believe the name of the charity is Thanksgiving Day Heroes, or something like that. If you're not, I think I can find it and put it in the link below if someone's interested in doing that. We've gone down to the homeless shelter and done meals. I've heard of all kinds of different things about what people do around Thanksgiving time, but it is about family traditions and making some of your own. And, you know, after all of the hustle and bustle is gone, you know, I like to sit down and ask my kids, you know, what are 3 things that you're grateful for? And it's usually after, you know, we've settled down or my wife's done back from shopping, and usually she doesn't get home till early in the morning. So maybe not be till the next day, but sit down and ask them what they're grateful for and what they want out of life. Life is so important and so short. What is your family tradition for Thanksgiving? You know, this podcast is growing. I would like to thank all of you this time of year, that those that have listened, liked, and subscribed. We've reached 13 different countries. We're averaging 1,200 downloads a month. You know what? For starting out the way we did, and not even me having to be convinced to do this show, it's been able to inspire change in the world and bring people closer together. I've been able to invite entrepreneurs and people that have successful careers and hear their stories about ups and downs. But what are you thankful for? Please share, like, and subscribe, and let me know what your family traditions are.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Ty Brady Way. As always, share, like, and subscribe. Go to Instagram at ty.r.brady. And as always, love hearing from you. and let me know what you want to learn on the show or what you'd like me to bring up on the show. Thanks.
You can find the Ty Brady Way on Instagram as well as Facebook. To stay connected with giveaways and Ty himself, go ahead and follow at ty.r.brady on Instagram as well as Facebook. This podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Whitney Faith Media Marketing. The theme music is an excerpt from Hot Chicken of the Woods by Isaac Joel.